Episode 2. The images of his parents, the exact moment of the impact, and the sensation of flying through the air battered him relentlessly. Silvano turned and, seeing the agony on Ren's face, understood. "Easy, Ren," he said with a voice that was firm yet calm. "You need to regain your strength. Once you feel better, I will help you find your parents." After eating, and with the weight of Silvano's words still heavy in his mind, Ren ventured out of the house. Outside, Ren noticed a corn plantation that seemed to be thriving amidst the chaos. In the distance, he saw the silhouette of what appeared to be a dense forest, a place that immediately piqued his curiosity. He knew he had to investigate it, but his body wasn't ready for an expedition yet, so he returned to the house. Once back in his room, he lay on the bed, trying to calm the whirlwind of emotions and questions in his mind. It was then that he heard a caw. A crow landed on his window ledge and watched him directly, with intelligent, curious eyes. Ren, fascinated, was surprised that the animal showed no fear of his presence. In that instant, the multicolored stone on the nightstand began to glow intensely. The brightness grew stronger, pulsating like an invisible heartbeat. Ren sat up, startled, and felt a sudden change. His vision sharpened, the most minuscule details of the crow and the room became incredibly crisp, almost painfully clear. The world seemed more vivid and, at the same time, terrifying. Frightened by the sensation, he tried to understand what was happening. The amplified vision was overwhelming. As quickly as it arrived, the crow took flight, and as it did, the stone on the nightstand returned to its normal glow. Ren let out a sigh of relief as his vision returned to normal, trying to calm his breathing. Everything had been so sudden and strange, but the feeling that his body and mind were returning to normal gave him a reprieve, although the questions persisted. As the days passed, the chaos in Olympus City gradually gave way to a tense, precarious calm. Rescue and reconstruction efforts intensified, but much of the sophisticated technological power that defined the metropolis remained inoperable. Holographic screens that once pulsed with advertisements and news now only displayed static maps of safe zones and food distribution points. In Silvano's house, the television was Ren's only link to the outside world. He spent hours listening to reports, hoping to hear news of a refugee center where his parents might be. Every word from the presenter was analyzed with desperation, but the lists of survivors and shelter locations did not contain the information he longed for. To maintain his sanity and strengthen his body, Ren adopted a routine of daily walks. At first, he only explored the area around Silvano's house, but as his body recovered, his curiosity led him to venture further. Slowly, the call of nature, something that had always fascinated him, grew stronger. Now, his search was not just for his parents, but also for answers in a world that had changed forever. While walking on the outskirts of the woods, he began to notice strange things: shadows moving too fast, whispers on the wind, and a constant feeling of being watched. Suddenly, he heard a scream in the distance. Ren sprinted toward the sound. As he got closer, his crow-like vision, which he had been unknowingly training, allowed him to see through the trees and bushes, distinguishing a small figure surrounded by menacing shadows. It was a child not much younger than himself, cornered by what appeared to be wild dogs, but with bright red eyes and dark bristly fur. Ren didn't think twice. He ran toward the child, grabbing a thick branch from the ground. With a roar, he launched himself at the beasts, brandishing the branch to disperse them. The dogs, surprised by his sudden appearance, momentarily retreated, giving the child an opportunity to take cover behind Ren. Ren's situation became critical. He knew they weren't in the best position. The threat from the wild dogs was imminent. No matter how hard he tried to scare them away with shouts and sudden movements, the animals got closer, their warning growls filled with intent. At the last moment, with a swift leap, Bernie pounced on the dog closest to Ren, biting it on the leg. The unexpected attack alerted the rest of the pack, which stopped and prepared to defend their comrade. The tension in the air was palpable, and Bernie braced himself to defend his friend, Ren. Suddenly, a deafening shot broke the stillness of the woods. Silvano had arrived, shotgun in hand, and fired into the air. The noise didn't make them flee, but the dogs retreated a few steps. Their growls, full of hatred and frustration, did not cease. Ren took advantage of the distraction to help the child stand up, who, though frightened, seemed unharmed. The child looked at him with profound gratitude in his eyes. Silvano fired again, this time closer to the group of dogs, and the noise finally startled them, sending them scattering. The threat dissipated, and the child, feeling safe, clung to Ren's leg, relieved. Silvano approached cautiously, observing the child closely. He had messy hair, ragged clothes, and a wild look in his eyes. "Are you all right, kid?" Silvano asked him in a soft voice. The child nodded, still looking at Ren. "My name is Leo," the child said with a voice that, though trembling, denoted relief. "And yours?" Ren replied. He knelt down to the child's height and in a gentle tone, asked what had happened to him. Leo, still scared, pointed toward the forest. "I was walking there when those dogs suddenly attacked me. They were very fast and fierce. I'd never seen anything like it." Silvano, who had approached, examined Leo's injuries. Although his clothes were torn and his skin was red with superficial bite marks, they didn't seem serious. "We can treat those back at the house," he told Leo. Silvano indicated the way back, and the three of them, with Bernie following closely, headed toward their refuge. Once back, Silvano attended to Leo in his makeshift clinic, a space filled with jars and tools. He examined the wounds more closely and confirmed that they were not deep and, fortunately, didn't appear to be infected. He explained to the child that he would need to rest and eat well to recover. Ren, who had been observing in silence, offered to help care for him. Silvano accepted with a gesture of gratitude. He and Silvano took care of Leo, as the main Olympus City hospital was not functioning normally. Due to recent events, it was not safe to take the child to any other medical center, and his case was not an emergency. With his basic knowledge of medicine and healing herbs, Silvano got to work. He carefully cleaned and disinfected Leo's wounds. Then, he applied a paste made from herbs he had collected from the forest. He skillfully bandaged the injuries and explained to Leo how to change the bandages and what herbs he should take to prevent any infection. After giving him the instructions, he told him to rest so his body could recover. While the chaos settled in the streets of Olympus City, the truth behind the catastrophe remained hidden, a story originating from the cosmos. Close to Earth, but in a different dimension, a magical planet called Crystallis, a vibrant jewel brimming with arcane energy, concealed its secrets behind an invisible barrier that made it imperceptible to any gaze. This veil, a protective shield, was the guardian of its essence. But the energy, wild and powerful, eventually became unstable, overloading the planet's core to a breaking point. In a blinding explosion that shattered the silence of space, the planet was torn to pieces. Thousands of fragments, imbued with its power, were launched into the void, like the seeds of a dead world. One of these fragments, upon breaking from its source, pierced the weakened barrier and headed toward Earth, impacting Olympus City and generating what would be known as the Resplendence, carrying the very essence of the planetary arcane energy, an unimaginable power that would bring not only destruction but also a transcendental change to the daily lives of its inhabitants. 5 years later, the world that Ren and Leo knew had disappeared, replaced by a landscape of destruction and change. Olympus City was no longer the gleaming futuristic metropolis it once was. The Resplendence had altered not only the city's infrastructure, but also its inhabitants. A new type of human now exists, the adapted or adapted ones, people who, after exposure to the meteor fragments, have awakened extraordinary abilities. Some can control elements like fire or water, while others have developed telepathic or healing capacities. These new abilities have created a deep social rift between the adapted and ordinary people. Fear and distrust have replaced the old harmony, and the division has become an open wound in society. But the Resplendence had another, even stranger side effect. People who were near animals during the impact suffered permanent bodily transformations, incorporating traits of those animals into their bodies. These transformations were often subtle, such as a heightened sense of smell or the ability to jump surprising distances. But in other cases, they were more obvious and noticeable, such as claws, scales, or fur. This new reality has turned Olympus City into a place of wonders and fears, where what was once common is now a thing of the past. Ren and Leo walk through Olympus City, still showing visible signs of the Resplendence, searching for clues about Ren's parents' whereabouts. The buildings in one part of the city are in ruins, vegetation is present, and the atmosphere feels oppressive. Ren and Leo, now teenagers, have learned to survive in this hostile environment. Ren has discovered more about his abilities. He has managed to control the crow-like vision. In an unfortunate encounter, he managed to copy the strength of a bear, and also the agility of a cat for stealth. Leo, for his part, has developed a strange connection with the mutated vegetation, being able to communicate with plants and use them to his advantage. They traverse the city in search of clues about Ren's parents' whereabouts, facing new dangers, and though they have not received formal training, adversity has been their best teacher. The adapted are not all the same. Their power and skill are measured and classified in a system ranging from Class F to Class S. This classification is based on the quantity and control they have over their aura, the manifestation of the meteor's arcane energy. Class F, the lowest, reserved for those who have just awakened their abilities. Their control over their aura is minimal and often involuntary. Their powers are weak and difficult to manage. Class E to A, as the adapted train and learn to master their aura, they ascend in class. Each level represents greater control, power, and versatility. Class S, the elite of the adapted. These individuals control immense aura power, capable of altering their environment on a large scale. Their skill is unmatched, and they are considered the most powerful in the country. Currently, only a few have achieved this classification, becoming figures of great influence and power. In this new and chaotic reality, the adapted have forged their own order. To help society and establish a structure, they have created guilds. These groups, which operate similarly to service corporations, accept missions of all kinds, from supply retrieval to survivor rescue and contaminated zone cleanup. The guilds have become fundamental pillars for survival in the city. However, not all adapted use their powers for good. Those with criminal tendencies have united into groups called factions, which remain outside the law. These factions control organized crime in Olympus City, from the trafficking of illicit goods to extortion and sabotage. Their power, combined with their abilities, makes them a constant threat to the stability and safety of the inhabitants. The city has become divided in a power struggle between these two sides. In this post-Resplendence world, the guilds are groups of people with special adaptations dedicated to fighting the dangerous factions. It's like a new form of specialized work. The guilds have the best information and connections, so Ran and Leo want to join one. The most powerful guild in the city is called the Dawn Guild. That is known for accepting members with unique abilities and for its strict code of honor, as well as its difficult entry test. The Dawn Guild protects the innocent and helps maintain order in the city, while the Moon faction is dedicated to crime and chaos. Their objectives clash directly. The Moon faction is known for its cruelty and for having no qualms about using brute force to achieve its goals. The Moon faction is dangerous and commits all kinds of crimes. The second most powerful guild is the Lightning Guild. It is known for its fast and precise tactics, and its members usually have abilities related to speed, electricity, or weather control. They are allies of the Dawn Guild and together fight against the Moon faction. These two guilds have a lot of strength and influence in society, but also a high degree of rivalry between them. The Dawn Guild focuses more on maintaining order and protecting the weakest, while the Lightning Guild is more, how to put it, independent and sometimes even reckless in its methods. Ran and Leo will have to prove their abilities and worth to be accepted. At first, they tried to join the Dawn Guild but failed the admission exams. They tried, but it was not a success. Now they are looking for another guild as an option. They decide to go eat at an inn to soothe their frustration after failing the exam. Ran and Leo sat in a corner of the inn, frustrated. The exam to enter the most prestigious guild had been a failure, and the disappointment was palpable in the air. As they ate, their conversation revolved around their next step.